What's up, martial arts fanatics? Welcome back. As always, I'm Coach Greg, and today we're starting a Q&A section here on the channel. I'm going to post a link in the comment section below. If you have questions you want to ask, please feel free to do so, and I'll try to address them here on the channel, start making videos based on what you guys are requesting. I've had a bunch of people request stuff in the past that I just haven't gotten a chance to make videos on, so I want to start doing some of those as well here. Today we're going to start off with how to address somebody who's trying to get in your head, the psychology of fighting, right? This is a big part of the game. I love this part of the game. First of all, I don't usually have a lot of issues with this because I'm usually the one trying to mess with other people's heads. And it doesn't necessarily mean I have to like shit talk my buddies or anything like that. But I do like to use antics to try to mess with their head and change things. Make them think about whenever I'm talking to them, why am I talking? And I have a whole thing I do on that. I talk about like different type of psychological effects. It's all in my Domain Fight System book. But if somebody is trying to mess with my head, you have to kind of remind yourself, why are they trying to mess with your head? And the whole purpose is to get you out of your comfort zone, get you off your game so that you can no longer set the terms and dictate the terms of the fight. That is the reason for it, right? To create a response out of them and create a reaction. So sometimes the best thing you can do is just not react to it and just keep pressing forward. If you have a game plan and you know what you like to do and how you like to operate, all that stuff doesn't matter. As long as you stick to your plan. Where it starts getting difficult is when guys start breaking out of this because their emotional response starts pulling them out, and that's where they fall victim. That's what happened to Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor. Instead of staying to his game plan and staying tight and patient and throwing stuff, playing a slip game that he does and stuff like that, he got emotional and he tried to come forward and knock him out, and he got clipped. Played into Conor's game, right? So when that happens, obviously you don't want to take the bait. But sometimes you have to think about, why are they setting the bait? What is their objective with it? You know, in a case like we talked about the Nate Diaz breakdown, Nate Diaz, one of the things he does is he's got such a high ability to, his cardio is so high, all he needs is a half a second to catch his breath again sometimes. And so stopping to give somebody a finger will give him enough of a pause that it'll slow them down. And also it makes people overthink a little bit, right? What happens if I press forward in this situation? Do I walk into a punch? But if I sit back, now he starts putting hands on me, right? It starts making people doubt themselves, right? It creates a response. That's the purpose of it. If I stick to my game plan in that situation, it's not really an issue. If my game plan is to throw shots, back him up to the cage, him stopping to do that works against him, right? I can still do that and just focus on my same defense that I normally use, right? Focus on my same game plan that I normally do. While he's stopping to do this, engage, but don't do so recklessly, right? Use the same caution that you normally use, but doesn't mean don't engage. It just means stick to your game plan. That's really all it is. So if you have a systematic approach towards fighting and you know what you like to do and you know how to achieve results, that stuff doesn't matter, okay? So, like I said, the best thing is just to remember, what is their objective? Are they trying to create a disengage? Are they trying to create a response? Just don't emotionally respond to stuff. Treat it like any other weapon. You know, what I would do is, if there was somebody like Diaz who was putting up the finger at me, you know, I might front kick the tricep, right? Make him regret putting his arm out there. Be like, oh, okay. You know, catch him with a side kick to the body. Just like you do anytime somebody's hands come up, right? Hit the techniques that I like to do. If he's coming to throw the finger, while he's doing that, check the leg. So engage, but don't do so recklessly, right? Don't over-engage, but don't sit back and just like question yourself and let him start coming at you and play defense then. So if you're going to use that to lure them back, that's fine. Just be ready to respond as he comes forward, just as you normally would. That's really the biggest thing. It's just, how do we bring ourselves back to non-emotional responses? And that just, some guys are good at that, some guys are not. I think for me, part of it has to do with the way that somebody likes to fight in the first place. Some people need to be angry to fight. If I don't hate this guy, I can't fight. And when you fight with an emotional response to begin with, it's very easy to exploit those emotions. I personally fight from a very stoic approach, right? Whenever I fight, it's never personal. Even in situations where I've been in actual altercations, not for many, many years, the minute starts, it stops being this personal thing and it goes, you know, almost like Milan, like, let's get down to business, that kind of thing. When the fight starts, right, it's no longer whatever happened before or after that stuff doesn't matter anymore. At that moment, it's purely focus on what I have to do, right? Learn to shut down your emotions to just focus on what you need to do. Heart of stone, right? Calm yourself, calm your breathing, focus on what you need to do. Remove adrenaline, start to bring yourself down. I think that's a big thing is people, you know, I watched a thing recently with Chael Sonnen talking about like getting guys who are like, let's get hyped up and go do this. That's actually kind of the opposite of what you want. You want to start bringing yourself down in terms of your emotions and adrenaline, because as soon as you start getting hyped up, your adrenaline starts going, you start getting sloppy, you start making mistakes, you start getting tired. You want the opposite. So when they start doing that, that's a time to take a deep breath and relax, right? Focus on what you need to do. I think that's really the big part of it, is just learning to remove emotion from your game in the first place. It makes it very easy for this to not impact you. Learn to be very stoic in your response. If it's talking about somebody, you know, who's maybe engaging in long-term bullying and that's getting you into a fight situation, by the time you fight, you might be very emotional. And so you have to learn how, if you are going to decide to finally engage, to do so without an emotional response. Right? You can be emotional up until the point where you get ready to swing, but at that moment, shut it down. Shut down your emotions, and it won't be an issue. That way, I don't care what kind of trash talk they do or what type of head games they play. Like, you know, Anderson Silva versus Michael Bisping, where he's sitting back against the cage, making Bisping worry about that jab that he did to Stephan Bonner to knock him out. You know, Bisping just disengaged and goes, okay, I know what you're doing. I don't have to play this game. So once again, it's always about bringing the fight back to dictating the terms of the fight and bringing the fight back to where you can play your game. As long as you stick to your game plan, that stuff doesn't matter. That's really my response to this, is just, I never have issues with it because I always focus on my game plan. So the other stuff doesn't matter. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and make sure you click the link below, share with your friends.